Oh man, here comes Bigfoot again. Go away, Bigfoot. Viral internet video of Sasquatch in Colorado. This couple is apparently celebrating their anniversary, and they are on this like scenic train ride, which we'll get to. And they get this footage of an apparent Sasquatch or Bigfoot. I think everybody knows those are synonymous. From the train when they were looking for elk. Now, when I first saw this, what was my response to you, Chance?
Fake.
Oh
so
my
fake.
God.
So very, very fake.
I don't think I said it exactly like that.
No, those were the exact words you telepathically communicated to me. I was there.
And I mean, I'm a Bigfoot believer, but my initial impression was, yeah, okay. But looking into it a little deeper, I don't know. I'm not real sure. It's very interesting. So they were on the narrow gauge train ride from Durango to Silverton, Colorado. And it's a couple from Cheyenne, Wyoming. And they caught this footage.
He be squatting, man. He's tired.
It's interesting.
He blends in so
I mean, how would anybody have known that they were going to be on the train ready to film in this moment? So why would you know what I mean? Like,
well, if you're a local in the area, you may understand that this train comes through. Like it's a again, I'll open that site in a minute, but it's a pretty famous train that you can go on. It's a scenic thing. There's some YouTubers who are like travel rails and stuff, and this is something you might do just for fun. It's not a commuter train per se.
but somebody's just sitting out there in the desert waiting for it to go by.
That's what somebody would have had to have been doing. Now, this region is pretty mountainous, and again, we'll get to that. I'll pull up a map, and there's not an exact location that I could lock down on where this was actually filmed, just kind of a general area, because they were on their way from Durango back to Silverton, I think, on the train. And this thing pops out. Now, my initial impression was its hair looks too neat. Like, it looked like a very well-groomed Sasquatch. And when I said that to you, Chance, do you remember what your response was, or should I say it?
I believe I retorted that camera technology is...
No,
that wasn't
It was much funnier. You said, what do you got against metrosexual Sasquatches?
That is much funnier. I do remember saying that now.
So, yeah, my initial impression was any Sasquatch in the wild, you often hear people report the smell of it. Like, they'll smell it from a mile away because it's got matted, nasty hair. The thing probably doesn't comb itself. And there's a lot of light shining off of whatever this is that makes it look like the hair is shiny and neat, like you might see in a costume. So here's some more stills here. Now, allow me to pull up, I believe this is the origin of the video. I think this is the woman who shot it. I'm going to pull up their Facebook post here.
It's an elusive creature. Alright, just squat it down. Yeah, let me see your camera, I'll do it. It's an elusive creature. Alright, just squat it down.
Blends in well.
It does it not?
Let me see your camera, I'll do it.
Like, it sees the train and goes, oh god, let me be a bush for a few minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And he blends right in. You barely see
It's
him.
an elusive creature. Alright, just...
They seem pretty casual. What do you guys think about their reaction?
It is casual, but in today's day and age, I feel like if aliens touched down on the front lawn right now, we'd walk out and be like, you guys want a V8?
I don't know. I feel like I would have been a little bit more excited. Like, oh my god, did you guys see this? Oh my, like a little bit more freaking out. But I'm also a weirdo.
No, I think that would be a natural reaction. I mean, maybe they think it's a joke?
Like, they think it's part of it?
Yeah, is this something the rail company does? I mean, there's no evidence of that. I don't know. Did somebody know that this train's going to pass by and they're just... I mean, this train is for people viewing the landscape. So if it's passing by, you can be sure. If you wanted to fake something, conceivably you would understand that you would be able to be seen by this train.
But then why would you effort to make yourself invisible at a point while it passes?
Right. Wouldn't you be wanting to like make yourself more known if it was done on purpose?
Because you have no idea if someone on that train saw you or if they recorded you. Why would you not try to be as obtrusive as possible if you were going for something like this to make sure that evidence was captured?
I mean, if you were trying to simulate what you thought was a living, breathing creature, maybe you would act like that creature. But there would have to be a level of thought that goes into that. And maybe that's putting too much, giving them too much credit. I don't know. A presumed hoaxer, anyway. Now, the other thing you said when we were watching it is, man, it really blends in.
Yeah.
Really blends in.
And that is something that you would also think would be indicative of a creature from the area, an elusive creature from the area, that it would be fairly well camouflaged, because look at how well camouflaged it is. Here it is.
You can barely
man.
see
I mean, and this is very much a wide shot.
Yeah, I wouldn't think it more than a tuft of grass had I not known what was there. Would never have thought it more than a tuft of grass. I mean, we can probably go look at, like, famous nature photographs through the ages of photography, and there's probably hidden Bigfoot in the back of them. Looking at this, it makes me think that that is a legitimate possibility.
If it was a hoax, maybe the actor would act that way, so then you do believe that it's real.
Right, and that's what we were saying, you know, if they were good at it anyway, if they were trying to be good at the hoax, you would assume that's
It's an elusive creature.
Maybe it's a reverse
just squatted
hoax by the
down.
Bigfoot to discredit the fact that they actually exist. The Bigfoot is acting how it thinks a human dressed like a Bigfoot would act. It's like a reverse psyop from the Big Feet.
I don't know if I would expect that level, not that they're not intelligent, but that level of complexity to their, I don't think they understand us enough. Obviously,
I'm
but-
with you.
Yeah, I'd like to pull this one up because this is a pretty nice zoom in on it, just so you can get a real look.
Squatted down. It's an elusive creature. Alright, just squat it down. Yeah, let me see your camera. I'll do it.
Blends in very well.
Creature. Alright, just
If it's a
squat
suit,
it
it's a
down.
one-piece suit.
Yeah, I would imagine it would be a one piece. I mean, I had a gorilla suit that was a one piece suit.
Wreck, I never stop.
Alright, just squat it down. Yeah, let me see your camera. I'll do it.
Shoot this. Let it play for a minute. Now, again, they're being very casual. So my initial impression is there's too much glare off its hair. It looks, the fur to me looks too neat, and I would think it would have to be neat to get that level of glare off of it. Now, I could be wrong. This is in Colorado. The sun is shining, and maybe that's just, that would be indicative of the sunlight in the area. It looks like a desert, right?
Just the glare coming off of it, because it's so bright, yeah.
What do you guys think
High
about that?
altitude Sasquatch.
What do you guys think about the shine? Is it too shiny?
So, shine in hair comes from oil. We'd have to assume that the hair would be covered in oil, being not washed, presumably, right? Now, the absence of mats brings in something into question there, because if there's no mats, it implies some type of grooming, which almost by its necessity would remove the oil out of the hair to some degree and make it less shiny. So it is a concerning point.
So the Florida name for Sasquatch is the skunk ape. That's like the
Okay.
Florida Bigfoot, right? And it comes from the idea that you could smell it. It smells terrible. People talk about rotten egg smell, even in the Pacific Northwest, when it comes to credible Bigfoot sightings, which would lead me to believe that the thing would be a matted, gross mess in terms of... Marty said, "Does it gotta go potty?" I mean,
Does
maybe.
kinda
It
look
seems
like
to be
that.
hiding. So the other point I'll make is some of the more credible Sasquatch films that I see, like the Patterson Gimlin film, it looks like the creature has mass, and that's when it takes a step, you see its body, you see the recoil from its body weight on its own body, on its own muscles, and it looks like you can almost feel it take that step, like it's a very large creature. And this to me looks very loose, like its skin looks very loose. What do you guys think
Yeah,
about
but
that?
the way it like crouches down, I would love to see you dressed up like in a suit like that and crouch that easily.
I think I could crouch. I mean, like if it's a loose enough suit, which it does. I don't know. It does appear to be, but again, that may just be the shine off of it
The
because of
fur.
the sun.
Well, I'm watching the walk, and I'm noticing a couple of things. The first to discredit of the video is the ape-like hand gestures that you see in a lot of other Bigfoot videos aren't being presented here, where the hands are splayed horizontally instead of almost slicing. You see it walking more akin in the arms to how a human walks. But the leg motion, I want to say, is reminiscent. It feels like I feel that same weight in these
Yeah, I
steps.
feel like
I
it's
can
heavy.
see its upper body kind of shifting
Docile.
as it moves.
Yeah, gets that, as I put it, recoil from hitting the ground with a lot of weight.
You know, and I don't know if I see it as much, but I definitely see there's some kind of... The gait there is abnormal. The hand movement is more human-like than I think other videos show, but
feel like
the
we
gait
don't-
is abnormal.
I feel like we don't see much of its gait. And the gait that we do see, they're not large strides like sometimes you see reported from Sasquatch sightings where, it jumped a fence in a single bound or something like that.
It almost looks like it's tiptoeing.
It
The
seems
way
very
it
casual.
sits down and try to squat and sit down like that.
I mean, I could squat and sit down. Not in the CRT, but
I don't think I could. I think I would kind of roll backwards.
I'm kind of split on it because its arm length is interesting to me. It does look like it has fairly long arms. And at the end there, when it pops its head up, that is reminiscent of the Freeman footage, and it's reminiscent of the Patterson Gimlin footage to me when it whips its neck around. And it does so in both films. Now, could that be faked? I'm sure it could. But it's interesting.
Is it just AI generated?
No, this isn't AI generated.
You can overlay you can infill into video now with AI.
I'm not saying it couldn't be faked, but there were other witnesses on the train. It wasn't just this couple. There was another person who they were talking to looking at it. I do find how casual they are suspect, but to be honest, I wouldn't accuse them of the hoax as much as maybe somebody if it is hoax, that somebody in the area thought, hey, as you said, hey, you guys want to get on the internet? But I feel like as cameras get better, when we do get Sasquatch footage, it sometimes feels too good to be true because we get less and less blob squatches that we've been used to, and it makes you want to discount the fact that it could be real because, it could be faked. Well, just because it could be fake doesn't mean it's not real. No. I'm not seeing it do anything here particularly that I don't think a human could do, but its anatomy is what I'm trying to study. Where you can see where its elbow joint is. You can't really see is that its hands. Like you said, sometimes in like certain footage you can see the hands and how they move when it walks. Is that its hands, or does it just have long sleeves over its hands? I don't know. It's pretty hard to tell from this, and it blends in so well, and it's obviously at a distance. I don't think they had any sort of optical zoom because they're probably shooting this clearly on a cell phone, given its aspect ratio. So the definition we have here, yeah, it's not amazing, but it's better than the stuff that was shot in the 90s on VHS tapes. It has a pink face.
This picture's kind of freaky. I'm not gonna lie, I don't like it.
In terms of its color, the color of its hair and the color of its face, I mean, Sasquatches are reported with a wide range of different colors, which makes sense in any population, whether it be human or rabbits or whatever. You know, they may adapt to adjust to their environment. And it really does blend in well. I gotta give it that. And that...
Well, it's got a high set nose too. You can see there's a small bit of darker pixelation where like its nostrils are gonna be there.
Now, I'll say if it is a costume, I think it's a pretty good one, at least from this vantage point. It's very interesting. I mean, it does appear to have kind of a conical head structure that's consistent among other reports.
Ooh, I convinced myself that it was a demon chihuahua, and I can't stop seeing that face as a demon chihuahua now. It's like a magic eye picture. I can't unsee it.
If they could track this back to where it was, if somebody could get out there, now the ground looks pretty hard, so I don't know if you'd have any luck, but if somebody might be able to find an impression of a footprint, that would make this that much more compelling, you know?
After rewatching it, though, he walks in like squats, right?
Yeah.
If you look really closely, it almost appears that the legs cross, though, like Indian style.
So I looked this up. This is the train they were on. I believe, you know, it takes different routes, but I believe this was the route they were on. Silverton train. It's the Mango and Silverton Narrow Gauge Railroad and Museum. This is the map in terms of where this area is. Now, what's highlighted here is actually the road. This here is the rail track as it leaves Durango. So I was trying to see exactly where this might have been, and honestly, there's no telling. I couldn't find any specific coordinates or information other than they were heading back from Durango. And that train goes along the highway, but it does deviate from the highway. So, it makes me wonder how close to the highway was it. Yeah, they talk about going through the San Juan forest. Here we are with it deviated pretty far from the highway. So these are areas that, you would expect probably not a lot of people around. Yeah, it seems to be following the river, which makes sense. This is the low point. I believe this is the track they're taking. Let's throw on terrain. Very mountainous. That tells the story right there. I mean, it's Colorado, so you kind of expect it. And very high altitude. But, I mean, plenty of places in here for something to hide and eke out a living biologically.
And I have to imagine it's very undisturbed. There's probably only a handful of hikers that end up there, you know what I mean?
Well, so here is Needleton Flag Stop. Hiking area. I think what here is rail, but my guess is there's probably some hiking paths that go along that. Let's go to some satellite imagery. From a biological perspective, is this an area that you think Sasquatch could eke out an existence?
I think so.
I mean, it's pretty remote. If you were very good at being elusive, I think you're in small numbers, or maybe you're just passing through this area, but it really did blend in very well.
Like, too well for me to think it was a costume, honestly.
Well, if you wanted to be seen in a Sasquatch outfit, you might not want to blend in with the background, you know? I mean, maybe that's all they had at Halloween. What's the Halloween store that always
Party
is like...
City?
No, just Party City, but
Spirit
Halloween. Spirit Halloween or Halloween Express. Yeah. I did pull up this. This is BFRO, the Bigfoot Field Research Organization. They accumulate Sasquatch sightings across the country and Canada. Now, I kind of question this organization. It was founded by Matt Moneymaker. Without going into it, he's now on Finding Bigfoot on Discovery Channel, but they're kind of an entity to themselves as well. And there are plenty of sightings in Colorado. They're got 130 listings. I don't know how active they are anymore in terms of collecting reports. I checked out their Facebook and Twitter, and they seem to kind of take a nosedive in terms of post a couple of years ago. But nevertheless, it is not as though Sasquatch sightings are wholly unknown to Colorado.
It almost looks like he's crossing his legs. Like when he finally sits, the legs move again, and it looks like he crossed them.
His
And
big
this-
feet need a big rest.
This is not the zoomed in video, but
Oh my god.
Now do you see it?
does it?
He squats, but then it looks like a leg comes around and a leg comes around.
Yeah, no, I saw that.
Maybe. I can't say I've ever heard a report of a Sasquatch crossing their legs either, so.
Just watch closely, like, sits, front leg moves, second front leg moves.
And he's like, you can see him leaning side to
Yeah.
side as he does it too.
I don't know, it seems to have very long arms. I don't know if that's the arms that we see going over the legs or if
I've
it's
seen
the
people
legs
with really
crossing.
long arms.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that people don't have long arms. I'm just saying, are we seeing the legs cross or are we seeing its arms go over?
Like over.
legs?
Yeah, I can't
Like
tell.
it's putting it on the knees and it's putting its arms like this, because like that would be a very good camouflage technique to have your knees
Yeah.
up, your arms, and then you put your head down, which is exactly what it seems to do.
Yeah, I could be wrong. Maybe that is the arms going up.
Well, it's also new that the jury's still out on it, but it is nevertheless an interesting case,
Very.
and it is cool to see new, fairly high definition Sasquatch footage. Hi, this is Gavin with Dark Dial. If you like this video, please remember to like and subscribe. It really helps us out as a channel, and it helps you find us a whole lot easier. We're going to be live Friday nights, 6 o'clock Pacific, 8 o'clock Central, talking about all sorts of topics like this, and we're taking calls too, so have your phones ready.